I said, now when you get to the part that says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, keep reading. That's what you can do. That's where it says, when any form of government becomes destructive of those ideals, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. If we don't like something about this nation, it is our responsibility to alter or abolish it. Not being involved, not staying informed, not staying inspired is a threat to the future of this great nation. But it's up to us, and especially the younger generation, to do something about it. Those are the pillars of what we're trying to do with this foreign policy, national security focus. And when we do that, we will have an opportunity to establish more friends in the world, more allies in the world, and better counter the activities or the ambitions of our enemies in the world. This map represents worldwide the density of Facebook connections throughout the world. Two observations. Where you see the most light, that's where there's the most amount of freedom. Secondly, where you see the most light is where you see the greatest amount of economic development. In other words, knowledge and information is a currency. One of the reasons that there's so much unrest in the Middle East is because the citizenry has been denied access to what we have access to relative to knowledge, information, the internet, principles of free enterprise. You will also note on this map that some of the darkest areas are the communist areas because they deny their citizens access to this global economy and this global information source called the internet. So one of the tactics that we use to help promote peace throughout the world is with information. We have a couple of dangerous situations where we're involved in militarily. Afghanistan, Iraq especially. And in Iraq, the current plan is to remove the nearly 4,300 military men and women from Iraq by a date certain. Unfortunately, I don't agree with that strategy because it's going to leave a power vacuum in Iraq. And with that power vacuum, it's like putting your fist in a bucket of water. If you put your fist in a bucket of water and you pull it out, it's going to fill that space back up. And what will happen in Iraq, because of the predominance of Shiite Muslims in Iraq, and the number of Shiites in Iran, they are going to fill that power vacuum, and we run the risk that all 4,500 men and women that died in that war to help liberate Iraq may have died in vain, and I do not agree with that, sir. I do not agree with that. In Afghanistan, we run the same risk of leaving too soon. Nobody likes war. But there's a right way to get out of a war, and there's a right way to get into a war. And I happen to believe that the right way and the right time and the right reason to get into a war is, first, the mission must be clear. Secondly, what's in the best interest of the United States of America must be clear. And third, there must be a clear definition of victory, because the greatest thing about our men and women in uniform, if they know what the mission is, and they know that they're doing in the best interest of the United States of America, they are in it to win it. That's what they do, and they do a great job of doing it. So with peace, we need strength. And with strength, we need clarity. President Ronald Reagan used to describe this country as a shining city on a hill. We're still that shining city, but we have slipped down on the side of the hill. But I happen to believe that there's something going on in this country called the spirit of America, where the American people are waking up, speaking up, and stepping up, because they desire leadership that may not be the normal paradigm. They desire a different type of leadership, such that we can move that shining city on a hill back to the top of that hill where it belongs. And if you give me the privilege of leading that charge, I will never, ever, 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 ever apologize for the greatness of the United States of America. There's an old Negro spiritual entitled, "We Ain't Got Long to Stay Here." And that message is especially true for the students. Because sometimes as students you think you're bulletproof. You think you're going to live forever. No, you're not. But Dr. Mays of Morehouse College used to remind the young men of Morehouse when I was a student there, that for the time that we have here on this planet, we all have a responsibility to do what we can do to make a difference. Everybody has different talents, skills, and abilities. We must use them in our lifetime. But life is not eternal on this earth. And no matter how many years you're blessed with, it's not an eternity. Dr. Mays used to describe it as a minute, a brief little minute. We're faced with some incredible challenges in this nation. And we cannot continue to procrastinate, getting on a fast track back up that hill. My father lived to be 56 years of age. He was a barber, a janitor, and a chauffeur. My mother was a domestic worker. Dad lived to be 56, Mom lived to be 80 years of age. They made a difference in the lives of my brother and I. Well, they gave us 3 endearing beliefs. Taught us to believe in God, believe in yourself, and believe in this great nation despite its challenges. My maternal grandfather lived to be 94 years of age. My maternal grandmother lived to be 104. When she was 80, she broke her hip and refused to get an operation because she didn't think she was going to live that much longer. 24 years later, because we never know how long we are going to be here. So while we're here, do what you can do, as the words to that song says. And remember, life is just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon you, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to you to use it. You must suffer if you lose it. Give an account if you abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Peace through strength and clarity. Thank you very much.